Well, you guys may have figured out by now that, well, me and cars, we kind of have this thing, and there's a myth on the fan site that I really want to test out.
All right, what is it?
Are you familiar with the Cannonball films?
Yeah.
Sure, from the 80s, right?
Okay, so it's the third installment that our myth comes from. The beginning of the movie, there's a red Lamborghini that is trying to evade the cops. Well, there's a lot of speeding and a lot of weaving and trickery, but man, the cops are not going to accept defeat. So what the sports car driver does is he drives off the road and heads straight towards the lake.
He totally floors it, skips across the water, makes it to the other side, and gets away from the cops.
Exactly.
I love it. Fast cars, skipping across the water. You should come here more often.
To flee the forest, a speedy sports car skips the Lake Fantastic. But is this filmic fantasy or stone-cold fact? Could a 1.2-ton car really skim a pond like a skipping stone?
So what's the plan?
I have watched the scene over and over in slow motion. And what I have found that watching frame by frame and measuring points of reference, the car wasn't going very fast, maybe 50 miles an hour. It went off a little launch and skipped about 4 times over a 100-foot body of water.
Okay, sounds easy enough. We get a Lamborghini, drive it at 50 miles an hour, and see if it can skip across 100 feet of water.
Who is gonna let us borrow their $250,000 car and drive into a lake to test this? I mean, it's not gonna happen. This isn't gonna be easy.
No, it's not. But although you can't always get what you want, sometimes you get what you need.
What in the heck did she get that for?
That doesn't look like a Lamborghini.
Yeah, far from it.
Supercar it ain't, but it's still a perfect stunt stand-in. On price tag and top speed, the luxury car has ours beat. But for this myth, what's key is that the surface area, weight, and weight distribution are almost identical. But because nobody is volunteering to drive it into a lake, our resident control geek gets to work.
I got a plan.
With Grant's remote control, under control, Tori's talking tracks.
Now for this myth, as well as a car, we need 2 things. 1, we need a long, straight road that we can get this car up to some pretty high speeds. And 2, at the end of that road, we need a 100-foot pond for this car to try to skip across. Now, we've looked all over San Francisco. We've looked all over California, and we've come up with nothing, which means only one thing. Road trip, baby. Wouldn't it have been easier if we could fly?
With local lakes few and far between, the team hits the road to a familiar location. The last time the team visited the test track of Freightliner, they put some big rig myths to the test. With open space and miles of trackway, it was the perfect place to put their lives on the line. And this time they've added a crucial addition to the end of the track, a giant purpose-built pond, ideal for a sports car to skip. Only not this one. This is just for show.
Why'd you stop? We're supposed to skip it.
Yeah, but that's why we have make-believe Lamborghinis.
Where did you get that car?
Well, a good friend let me borrow it.
Forget the car. What do you think about our pond?
This is a gorgeous pond. This is a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we made it to the same dimensions as in the movie. 100 feet long, 27 feet wide, and 3 feet deep.
But you know, before we get to testing, since we can't use your Lamborghini, I got to get to work on the car.
All right, we need to talk about that ramp.
Yep, with a perfect pond to skim, Tori and Jesse break out the heavy machinery.
All right, so now what we're doing here is we are building a little ramp before we actually hit the water. Why? Because that's what they had in the movie. We can look at it as close as we possibly can. And that Lamborghini had a little bit of lift before it went across the water.
A little lift that equates to a movie-matching 8-inch mound. With that time-lapsed into place, Jesse casts the first stone.
Now this whole myth is about skipping a car across the water like a stone. I'm sure you've all tried it before. If you get a smooth enough stone and you fling it just right, it'll actually bounce across the water's surface. But why? Well, it's all about spin and speed. The spin on the stone stabilizes it and stops it from simply falling into the water. And if the stone is traveling at a fast enough speed, then each time it hits the water's surface and pushes some of the water downwards, the stone is forced upwards. So the stone continues to skip along the surface until eventually it runs out of speed and sinks.
So if skimming is all down to spin and speed, will a car that isn't revolving skip?
There's something that doesn't look quite right with this car. It doesn't look fast enough. That's a fast car.